Hello everybody and welcome back to Esports Update. I'm your host Mike Kersey and I'm here to give you all the news, scores, and highlights that you may have missed in esports this past week. And we're getting right back into it with our coverage of the League of Legends World Championship. This week was the semifinals and it seems the upsets of the previous weeks are finally over, as we found out, starting with Europe's third seed G2 Esports versus China's second Invictus Gaming. In the first match, Invictus drafted for a stronger early game and it paid off. G2 lost the early solo lanes, which caused them to quickly fall to IG's item scaling. IG continued to suffocate them at every gold opportunity and taking all the team fights. It wasn't long before IG took an uncontested Baron, an easy ace, and the Nexus. In the next match, it was easy to see that G2 was again losing the solo lanes. Perks went down in the mid lane and Wonder couldn't keep up with the IG's top laner, the Shy. IG capitalized on every kill, always going for some objective immediately after. It wasn't long before the Shy just became too strong, bulldozing through the top lane and demolishing G2 in the team fights. G2 didn't stand a chance and the Nexus was again taken with ease. It was then match point and G2's last chance for finals. G2 started out strong, taking first blood in the early game, but they soon got too aggressive and lost the battle at the mid turret. And after starting what seemed to be a safe team battle, turned out disastrous when they got flanked by the Shy. With the Shy continuing his dominating performance, G2 got ripped apart by him in the next team battle. The Baron fell shortly after, and IG took the Nexus, sending G2 home and advancing to the finals. The next day, the North American favorites Cloud9 faced off against Europe's #1 seed Fnatic, and Fnatic quickly started the lead, taking the early mid lane kill against Jensen. Cloud9 tried to even it out by ganking Blippo in the top lane. They didn't quite get the kill, but Svenskeren kept chasing and gets himself killed by the turret. Fnatic sees the huge mistake and chases Licorice down for the kill, and the game was all but over after that. Cloud9 couldn't come back from the early game loss, and the Nexus goes down at just 25 minutes. The second game played much slower, with Cloud9 taking the first blood in Drake only after an entire 11 minutes had passed. C9 continued to win the next couple team fights, but the goal differential was kept even. And at mid-game, Cloud9 loses a critical team fight that cost him the Baron. It wasn't long after that the final fight happened at the mid inhibitor, and Fnatic's mid laner Cap punches his ultimate and gets 4 kills and seals the win. Just like G2, the third game was last chance for Cloud9, and they played far more aggressively, with trade kills coming from all across the map. But when Licorice went down in the bottom lane, the rest of Cloud9 was attacked from all sides, and Sneaky barely gets away from the ace. Afterward, Fnatic took the Drake, the Baron, and the ace, which sealed the win, and they will be the first European to make the finals since the first Worlds in 2011. We'll make sure to cover the final game between Fnatic and Invictus next week, but until then we'll be moving over to Fortnite, where we are finishing up the 6-week fall skirmish at a 3-day LAN event in TwitchCon. This week's format had the duos separated into 4 heats, each playing 4 games each, and the top 12 duos of each heat advancing to the grand finals. Points were again awarded for placement and a big bonus for eliminations. And in Heat 1, it was Ronan and Hero taking third, consistently placing in the top 10. Mitro and Magan placed second, placing high in all matches but getting the bonus with a total of 20 eliminations for the day. And it was Cloaksy and Tfue that took the first place in Heat 1, winning the first match of the day and also taking 20 eliminations. In Heat 2, Caliber takes the final shot in the second match, placing the duo in third. Luxal wins in the heel-off against Vivid in the second match, which helped the duo secure its second place spot. And it was Pain and Vate Jesus who placed first in the Heat, after the stellar fourth game performance, playing the low ground, getting the elimination bonus, and taking perfectly placed jump shot for the win. In Heat 3, Bizzle and DMO take third place after taking back-to-back wins in both the first and second matches. Aiden and Nick Merckx went on a crazy killing spree in the third match, taking 12 eliminations, which gave them enough points for second place. And Ronaldo and Ziff took the low ground kills in the second match, and also almost got the win, which gave them enough points to get the first place spot. And in the final heat, J-Love dropped in the final kill in the game 3, placing the duo in third. Elevate won the heel-off, sitting on the high ground in game 2, which gave the duo second place. And it was Diggy and Perfect Tilt that took first place, taking the first game win and also extra points for having 10 eliminations in that round. But in the grand finals, it was all Tfue and Cloaksy, who were the unstoppable duo who easily took the first place position and the grand prize. The two had a total of 28 eliminations between the two of them. Cloakzy played out of his mind all day, taking both the second and first games of the day, and then winning the third round victory after taking on the high ground and pulling off a final shot with only 20 health left. This gave them the win in the elimination bonus. And that is it for Fortnite's Fall Skirmish. $10 million have been won in prize money over the last 6 weeks, and we're excited to see what comes next. It was also the last week for Rainbow Six's 8th Pro League season. The standings are finally finished, and we now know the brackets for the finals that will be played in Rio de Janeiro. Evil Geniuses played Obey this week. Obey went on a 3-round win streak to come back from match point and make the tie. Noble, however, beat Mouse Sports in some of the worst play the casters have ever seen from Mouse. This secured Noble in the 7th place regulation spot and will unfortunately send Obey for auto-regulation. Cloud9 forfeited their match to Space Station. The outcome wouldn't have changed anything, but Space Station will take an extra 3 points for the board. The winner of the Rogue vs SK match would secure the 2nd place spot and the winning team's ticket to the finals. The match between the two were back and forth, and it all came down to the last match. And it was Eclipse who took the 1v1 clutch kill in the end, and it will be Rogue that is sent to the finals in the 2nd place spot for North America. In Europe, Penta took the early lead in their matches versus Vitality, but after losing the 7th round due to a forced forfeit when one of the players tried to change operators, Vitality came back to take the tie. The Millennium vs Mocket match would be the deciding factor for Europe's 2nd place spot. The first half's defensive rounds went to Millennium, taking 3 of the 2, but that was all they would get as Mocket would go on a 4-round win streak and crush Millennium on defense. Mocket has now taken the 2nd place spot and will be the first German team to qualify for the finals. The rest of the standings were already solidified. Europe's 1st place G2 just ran over last place Supremacy, taking the flawless victory, and Team Secret took down Chaos 6-3. And the final brackets have now been drawn. In the finals we'll be seeing FaZe vs Mocket, Noah Rangel vs Rogue, Evil Geniuses vs Fnatic, and G2 Esports vs Immortals. We'll make sure to cover it all next month after the games are played on the weekend of the 17th. Moving on, we'll be heading over to the finals of CSGO's Epicenter 2018 in Moscow. Group stages earlier in the week had left Avangard, Hellraisers, Ninjas, FaZe, Team Liquid, and the home team Na'Vi shooting it out in the quarterfinals. Avangard made fairly quick work against Hellraisers, taking the most of the pistol rounds and dominating on both the CT and T sides, but they were immediately shut down in the semifinals by Na'Vi. FaZe made an incredible run, destroying Ninjas on the T side and still winning even while losing the pistol rounds. FaZe then 2-0's Team Liquids in the semis, dominating the CT rounds and pushing against all predictions to the final bracket. In the finals against Na'Vi, Na'Vi started out strong, absolutely crushing FaZe in the first 2 rounds. But FaZe quickly came back, taking an 8-game win streak immediately after. Na'Vi started to make a comeback, but ultimately they were done, and they were looking for the next map for the win. The next game was played on Dust 2. FaZe took the pistol round and Na'Vi never caught back up, just getting pummeled at every turn. Nico and Olaf had an absolutely dominating performance, both taking multiple clutch plays for the win and taking FaZe to another level, smothering Na'Vi in a 16-3 win on the home turf. Nico gets the MVP, and the underdogs of the tournament take home the trophy and the $400,000 grand prize. And we're going to wrap things up this week with some quick coverage of the group stages for the Heroes of Storm's Global Championship. BlizzCon's opening week has started off, and the Heroes group stages are over, and we now know the teams that are heading to the final brackets. In Group A, it was Gen G who came in first, going undefeated but taking a draw against Team Liquid. Miracle is falling right behind, just taking their 1 loss to Gen G. Team Liquid sits in 3rd place, taking a loss to Miracle and 1 draw. And it's Temple Storm who just narrowly makes the 4th place spot, taking the only win against the last 2 teams, BTG and Luna Meow. In Group B, Team Dignitas comes in first with an undefeated and completely dominating performance. Heroes Hearth places 2nd with their only loss going to Dignitas, and Tempest placed 3rd after just barely beating 4th place's The One, who tied over 2/3 of their games. We'll make sure to have full coverage of the finals next week along with the rest of BlizzCon. But as for now, that's it for this week's eSport update. If you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe to the channel, and if you have any suggestions for what you would like to see covered in future weekly episodes, please let us know. You can find us on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. But until next time, I'm Mike Kersey. Have a good week.
Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuum in. Graphics on everyone. The black hole.
Away those tracers. You can see Dupree trying to close in, but Taz will hit the headshot.